Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy. Damn mosquitoes! Oh! Well anyway, today we're going to talk about... Oh god, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
It's only a hallucination. Maybe not.
Oh my god, they're going to kill her.
Stop! She's alive!
Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage and today I want to talk about a movie that I haven't seen for 20 years or more. Barry Levinson's 1985 adventure mystery, Young Sherlock Holmes. Everyone has those movies in their lives. Movies that we saw at a very young age and that left a very distinct impression. And the memories of those movies almost bear some kind of mythical resemblance. This one is such a movie for me. I saw it on TV as a very young child, and while I didn't remember much, barely anything from the actual story, more just a mysterious, adventurous atmosphere, a feeling, I still know that it very much haunted me for a long time back then. It featured some kind of horrific hallucinatory sequence that involved food. One of our main characters was tormented by that vision, and so was I as a young child. Now that I went back to it, me and the friend I watched it with couldn't help but laugh, because that scene was actually rather sweet and innocent. And it was by far the least scary of actually a lot of scary moments in the film. But as you know, the imagination and fears of a child are quite different. And now in hindsight, I'm very surprised that I wasn't more frightened about the rest of the film, because young Sherlock Holmes does often feel like a wonderful haunted mansion ride with a lot of spectacular effect shots. Which at first might not sound fitting for a film about the world's most famous detective, apart from Batman. But Young Sherlock Holmes was also made in the 1980s, and it's more at home with movies like The Goonies, Back to the Future, Gremlins or Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And the reason for that is simple. It was produced by none other than Steven Spielberg. And if there was ever a film that could be regarded as a lost or forgotten Spielberg movie, this is definitely it. From the get-go, this has a typical 80s Spielberg vibe to it. That certain movie magic quality, that warm coziness, that fun and sometimes quite creepy adventure feeling. As the title suggests, this tells the story of Sherlock Holmes when he was still a young teenager. When he met Watson, not yet a doctor, for the first time. When he was head over heels in love with Elizabeth, and the three of them had their first big adventure. The adventure of a lifetime, as it's coined on the poster. As you might suspect, this is not based on a specific story by Sherlock Holmes creator Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and scriptwriter Chris Columbus was actually very concerned whether the movie would upset Sherlock Holmes purists, and there is both a text at the beginning and at the end of the movie. The one up first states that it's an original story and not specifically based on the exploits of Sherlock Holmes as described in the works of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And the one at the end that this depiction of the initial meeting between Holmes and Watson as adolescents has been made with respectful admiration and in tribute to the author and his endearing works. It is a prequel, the origin story if you will, to a well-known beloved character, and you also get your typical moments of how did Holmes get his pipe and stuff like that. But I don't think they overdo it, and the movie has enough personality to stand on its own. I was very captivated by this film as a child, and now as an adult I think it's a pretty good adventure film. It's definitely made for a teenage audience, but it has enough filmmaking style and charm to be enjoyed by adults as well. Watching it this time I couldn't believe how much it plays like a young version of Indiana Jones. And in Germany the title wasn't even Young Sherlock Holmes or a translation of that. The German title is Das Geheimnis des verborgenen Tempels, The Secret of the Hidden Temple. And as a matter of fact, a huge part of the movie has a very strong resemblance to Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. There's a scene where Holmes, Watson and Elizabeth are witnessing a strange cult doing a horrible ritual in a big secret temple. It's more or less a direct scene from Temple of Doom, and that film was only released 1 year earlier. It might sound too simple, but it's true. Young Sherlock Holmes is like Indiana Jones meets Harry Potter. It's almost the prototype of Harry Potter. And of course this becomes even more clear if you remember who wrote his screenplay. That's right, Chris Columbus, who also directed the first 2 Harry Potter movies. Holmes, Watson and Elizabeth have a strong resemblance to Harry, Ron and Hermione. The film has this coming-of-age adventure story vibe embedded in this fantastical British mystery. The schoolrooms are their base, you get a rivalry that's not unlike the one between Harry and Malfoy, candy plays a significant role, we get a dinner scene in the Great Hall, teachers who might not be what they seem to be, and of course our 3 young pupils solving mysteries together. The 3 young actors, Nicholas Rowe, Alan Cox and Sophie Ward, work well together. The chemistry isn't extraordinary, but it's fine. Even though the love story between Sherlock and Elizabeth feels fairly underwritten and Elizabeth stays a rather shallow character. The movie also never quite reaches the best momentum and it does take a while until the real adventure begins. But you're definitely treated by some nice set pieces, a few gruesome moments and effects that mostly stand the test of time. Of course, keeping in mind that this film is 35 years old now. It's actually a landmark film when it comes to visual effects and it was indeed nominated for an Oscar. It was the first theatrical movie to have a completely CGI character. The main threat of the film is a mysterious villain that uses a blowgun to poison people and make them hallucinate, which is beautifully introduced in the very first sequence, even before the opening credits are unfolding. Those hallucinations are visualized with the best effects possible in 1985 and most of them still look rather good today. The movie can definitely be seen as another big step in the evolution of CGI, specifically for Steven Spielberg and his journey to the creation of Jurassic Park in 1993. The film is available on the Criterion Channel streaming service. They feature it in their Saturday matinee segment, which fits perfectly. It's a great film to watch on a cozy Saturday or Sunday afternoon. So, in German I'd say, Young Sherlock Holmes ist ein ziemlich unterhaltsamer Fantasy-Abenteuerfilm, der wie viele andere in den 80ern wundervollerweise nicht davor zurückschreckt, jüngeren Zuschauern auch ein bisschen Angst einzujagen. Eine etwas andere Sherlock Holmes Verfilmung und sicherlich eine der interessantesten. I give Young Sherlock Holmes 7 out of 10. It's more like 7.2, but I don't do that.
Before the legend began.
Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about Young Sherlock Holmes. And also let me know what is your favorite Sherlock Holmes movie adaptation. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Letterboxd simply at TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.